Welcome to Reddit Reads, r/ProRevenge. Our first Reddit post is from Mysterious Teaching 30. Slumlord won't let the company out of a 5-year lease. I get the building condemned. To start, this is about the company I work for and a trip I took because I had to wire a building for a computer network. Backstory: our company was moving a remote site to a new building. As the guy for the company, I was asked to look at the new building and get network ports marked out. The landlord refused to put in any low-voltage lines, and we got quotes, but they were thousands of dollars. Enter me, my car, and 4 boxes of Cat 6 plenum. It's about an 8-hour drive, and I was doing about 30 drops. Not a ton, but still a few days' work in some place that's already built up. And it's drop ceiling with insulation on top. Messy, itchy work. Story: Day 1. We get there Monday morning at the start of the month. It's actually a cool summer morning, and we're from further south, so no one notices the AC not working for about an hour. Slowly, the building begins heating up. It gets to 80 by noon, 85 at 3 p.m. The rooms with floor-to-ceiling windows are greenhouses. It's absolutely miserable. We've been told by the workers still on site that the leasing company was told there was no AC in our building 3 weeks ago. The other thing is there are still workers on site. The building isn't completed. So much for being ready for a handover day 1. Day 2, we're getting agitated. It's 80 degrees in the AM when we first walk in. It's sweltering. The other guy that came up with me is the facilities manager. He's screaming at people over the phone to fix the f***ing AC. We're all exhausted from the heat by 3 p.m. I found a 4-foot hole in the ducting when I opened the ceiling tile. The AC was blowing, but there was no cold air. We are told the compressor is broken. Day 3. More of the same. Miserable in the morning. I'm finally getting the last lines punched in on the patch panel. The AC guys arrive about 10 a.m. They finally fix the unit at 2 p.m. We ask them what they did. They said a lot of things. We again said, "What did you do?" The reply was, "We can't tell the tenants." Red flag alert. We contacted our realtor. She sends an email later that night that says they changed the refrigerant from 22 to 410. I tell the facilities guy, "No way, dude. That's like putting gas in a diesel motor. They'd have to change out the entire system." They didn't do that. In 4 hours, they basically duct taped and fertied that thing back together, and it will run poorly for a month or so, then give out, and we'd be stuck with a replacement. Day 4. Still no running water to some areas. Still workers on site. The AC can't keep up with the noonday sun, and it still hits around 80 by the end of the day. AC runs continuously. We're packing up all the stuff we moved in and moving out. I notice all the fire sprinklers look like they have moved, and the metal protection around the drop tile has fallen to the floor. The sprinklers are no longer protruding from the tiles in places. In others, they are quite a bit lower than they were. Yep, the AC fools stood on the fire sprinklers to fix their lousy duct work. We are looking for a friendly way out. We contact the landlord and say, "You haven't delivered a finished building. We are moving out. The lease is broken." Landlord has a 36-page lease. Landlord won't let us out of the lease. It's 5 years. This is not starting off well. We get in contact with the corporate lawyer and the realtor. They both agree we are kind of fucked. We are desperate for any way out. I start looking at the fire system I use to run all kinds of low-voltage lines, fire security, etc. There is no fire panel in our portion of the building. No smoke detectors are hooked up to anything. More red flags. One of our employees that was moving the heavy gear says, "Oh yeah, I meant to mention, I never saw any building permits anywhere, ding ding ding." They did this bulled out, including demolition, running new plumbing and power lines, and destroying the fire system without a city permit. Cue the call to city inspector's office. Day 5. I wasn't here for this part, but the facilities manager told me the city inspector pulled the permits for the building. There weren't any. He finds multiple violations of city code, red tagged our area, removed the certificate of occupancy. When I told him to check the fire system like you said, he just goes, "Oh no, 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 I have to make a call." He calls the fire marshal. Day 8. Fire marshals arrive on scene. Find no active alarm system in our portion of the building. Red tag. Find the sprinkler riser for the entire building in our area. No water pressure. Condemned the entire building. Basically, they wouldn't let us out of the building because we signed a lease, even though they never delivered a building in any semblance of working order. Called the building inspector, got them smoked, who then called the fire marshal, who condemned the entire building. They are still trying to fight us over it, but we are pushing for them, not only refunding our deposit and the rent, which they have already done, but for all the time spent moving gear in and out, and all the wiring. Our lawyer says they don't have a leg to stand on, and he's happy for them to pay his fees as well. This comment is from Mindless Rooster. Epic. Well played. The best part is if he was doing that commercial, you know he cut corners residential. You possibly saved lives. This comment is from BakedPotato1337. Nice job up. It's always nice to read whenever a corrupt individual corporation gets their just desserts. Sorry you had to deal with the terrible working conditions for 5 days though, that sounds awful. This comment is from Mysterious Teaching Theory. We were told later that one of the people who owned the property also worked for the property management company. My thoughts are he was getting licensed contractors out to his place on the side and told them he'd give them contracts to their entire portfolio if they did him a favor. I could be wrong, but this is some scummy level 9000 stuff. Now a word from today's sponsor. Make sure to donate to my Patreon down in the description below to get early access to videos, participate in special patron-only events, and other goodies. Any amount of money is greatly appreciated. It makes it easier for me to make the content that I love making, and I know you guys love too. Now back to the video. Our next Reddit post is from Witjina, entitled "And Unknowingly Ended Her Own Financial Support. Throwaway because my family knows my main account." Warning: long post. This actually happened at Christmas last year, but the effects are now being felt full force. My older sister, let's call her Ria, and our mom have always had a very difficult relationship ever since I could remember. Ria has always been headstrong and not afraid to ask questions. My mom was a very traditional, devout Christian who put family above everything first. Bit of a background: my mom was the second eldest of 9 children and moved from the Philippines to the US. She grew up dirt poor in a small province and experienced firsthand the hardship that comes with taking care of a big family. She was the first of her family to graduate college and has always valued education as a means to get out of poverty. She has paid for 4 of her siblings to go to college, only 2 actually completed and went on to find jobs, and has also paid for several of her siblings' children to go to good schools in the Philippines. Ria had more exposure to the extended family than I did. She was born in the Philippines. I was born in us 7 years apart. As she got older, she was very outspoken about how she did not agree with my mom financially supporting some of her family because Ria felt as though they were abusing my mom's generosity, especially since mom was frugal with our expenditures here in the US. When Ria was in her last year of high school, she had a bad falling out with my mom and moved out. They did not speak for 5 years, although I kept in touch with Ria. In that time, Ria worked full-time and paid her way through college without any help from my parents at all. Fast forward a few years, at my high school graduation, I invited Ria. She attended and ended up reconciling with my mom. Things were still rocky, but they had a much better relationship. 2 years ago, my mom passed away. Unknown to me at the time, Ria had quietly taken over the continued financial support for my mom's youngest sister's Jana cost of living and maintaining the college fund. She also took care of the funeral arrangements and handling the estate. Dad was a mess at the time. Last year, Ria and I decided to spend the holidays in the Philippines. One of our visits was to Jana's place. Little did I know that shit was about to hit the fan when we sat down for dinner. After small talk, the topic of my mom came up, and this was how that conversation went. Details may be lost in translation, so just writing the gist. Ria, J. Jana. J. Such a shame your mom passed away. We will miss her. Yes. J. Ria, why did you stop talking to her? Why did you leave her? You should be ashamed. That's not how you treat family. Now, your mom could have raised you better. You always were too headstrong, you know. That's not ladylike. You shouldn't be so aggressive. You need to be softer. How are you going to get a man otherwise? She goes on to say more shit along these lines. J turns to me. Don't be like your sister. Be a good daughter. Do you have a boyfriend? Yet you don't want to get too old like Ria and not have your own family. That's not following God's plan. Before I could speak, Ria asked her own questions. Why did you drop out and decide to get pregnant when mom was paying for your college? Did you really think that that businessman would leave his wife to take care of you if you wanted to be a trophy wife? At this point, I just decided to watch because Jana was starting to piss me off, and Ria has been known to do epic takedowns. Jay enraged. How dare you come into my house, eat my food, and disrespect me? Calmly, technically it's my mom's house. You have food because my mom has been supporting you for the better part of 15 years, and you disrespected her by wasting all the opportunities. Jay, I don't need your attitude or your bullshit. I don't need anything from you, you disrespectful bitch. Get the hell out of my house. More rant. Art gets up and smiles. You sure you don't need anything from me? You don't want anything from me. I want to confirm that I heard you correctly. Jay, I don't need shit from you. I can take care of myself and my family, and how dare you imply otherwise? Get the hell out of my house, and your father will hear about this. Looks at me. You heard her. Let's go. Now, I was surprised by how calmly Ria was taking the diatribe because I've seen her and my mom get into massive shouting matches. More confused than anything, I followed her to the car. You heard her right. She doesn't need anything from me. It begins to dawn on me what my sister is about to do. We get back to the hotel, and my sister promptly stops the auto transfer of funds for Jana's account. We then spend the rest of the week lounging by the beach and hanging out with other cousins. Yesterday, I was talking to one of my cousins and heard that Jana is just now realizing what actually happens when you run out of money. I called up Ria shortly after to give her an update. What she ran out of money that quick. There was enough in there to last her the year. Mio, did you tell her that? In basic math. Will she lose the house? Nah, it's paid for. As long as she doesn't do something stupid. She should have a roof over her head. Did you also close her kid's college fund? Nope. Not gonna punish the kid for her mom's stupidity. But that's all she gets, so if she fucks it up, she fucks it up. So yeah, will definitely be interesting how this plays out in the next few months. I have a feeling my sister probably won't give a damn one way or the other though. Editone typo. Editor woe. Responses. Will try my best to read through all of these. This comment is from Snugglers. Your mom seemed like such a good person. Rip. Good on Ria for still showing kindness by not closing the college fund. This comment is from Verdant Twitch. This would work well in malicious compliance too. Jana said she didn't need anything from Ria Suru. This comment is from Litlanito128. Having a family that's always demanding more and simultaneously looking down on you is the worst. How I wish I could exact my own revenge. That was Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. If you like this content, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. Also subscribe to our Patreon, as that will help us a lot. See you next time.